Hi, y'all. It's your girl Vee,
And it's your girl April Love.
and welcome to Love Unlocked Talk. This is like, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, and we missed you guys last week. You know, we took a little break, but we are back. So let's get into it. This week we are discussing relationships as far as um, what to expect when you're married to somebody who has children or has a child with somebody else. What to expect in that instance. But, you know, first let's talk about what's going on with Prince Harry and Meghan.
Yeah, that's been in the news. It's a lot going on with that too. Because as probably many of you know, Oprah did a special kind of primetime interview with Harry and Meghan, and they kind of talked about the ins and out of what happened while I guess they were royalty in a sense. And so it's kind of been interesting because before the interview, when I first heard that they decided to like leave their titles behind and like he wasn't gonna get any money and all of that, I was like, that's a lot. That is a lot to do. That's a lot. You're leaving your money, your family behind essentially for your wife.
Right.
That is a lot, and that's a lot of pressure not only on him, on her, because now when it happened, I was sitting there thinking like, yo, you can never leave this man. He's like, he's giving up everything
Right,
for you.
right. That's a good way of looking at it.
That's how I felt about it when it happened. I was like, that's too much pressure on me. Like, I have to be here, whether I like you or not at this point, because you didn't gave up everything.
Yeah, you're indebted
for
at this
me.
point, right?
So in the interview, they talked about, you know, how they came to that decision. They alluded, or not even alluded, directly said that there was a little bit, probably some racism going on there. I know that Oprah kind of pointed out the night and day media coverage for Meghan versus Kate, who's married to his Harry's brother. So, you know, they talked about how her kids wouldn't get any titles.
Right.
They wouldn't have security. They wouldn't have any of the things that the regular royal family had.
Right.
And it was just a lot of different stuff. Harry feeling like the media was attacking Meghan like they attacked his mother, and he didn't want, you know, that to be a repeat. So it was a lot. It was like a 2-hour special.
Okay.
It was a lot to unpack, but the thing that I feel for us to discuss is like, that's a lot to kind of take on when you're getting married, and kind of prioritizing, or you know, your wife or your husband, your spouse comes before all of this other stuff that is who you are, though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's who you are. And then on the other side of that, if you're marrying somebody and that is who they are, whatever that is, how do you go, like, should you be prepared rather than being like, should there be a situation, if you know what you're getting into, that somebody has to leave what they're used to for you when you knew what you were getting into before you came? And on a side note, I do hear that out there, their media is like vicious.
Right.
It's not our media, I guess, is vicious, but I hear their media is like
Right.
vicious. So I kind of like, that was one of the things that was asked in the interview, was kind of like, well, did you Google, did you research? And she said no. She did not look into what she was getting into. she basically said, I grew up in LA, so I thought these were basically like celebrities.
Right.
Not like the real whatever thing they got going on.
Right.
Because I think I told you, he asked her, did she know how to curtsy before she met his grandmother, and she didn't. She was kind of like, I thought that was just for like the fan, like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think that was like
you have to actually
in your private life. She was thinking like, y'all are celebrities, so when y'all go home and close the door, it's just normal stuff, and it wasn't. But she said she didn't research any of that. So what is your take on that type of situation? Like, she should have known what she was getting into, right? And he knew what she was getting into. Right. So then it kind of is like, what do you
I'm thinking. I feel like he could have broke it down to her, for real, broke it down for her. Like, this is what you're getting into. This is what my life is like. Are you sure you can handle this? I feel like that responsibility falls on him, because only he knows what his life is like, and only he knows the seriousness of it. If she didn't research it, she clearly didn't think it was that big of a deal. He should have been like, it's that big of a deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. You need to know that this is what you need to do, X, Y, and Z. So I feel like he dropped the ball at that point. So with that being said, he dropped the ball. So yes, I feel like if she's ready to dip out, you better be ready to dip out with her, because you did not educate her on what your upbringing was about or what your lifestyle is about. You expected her to just fall in line when she knew nothing.
Well, I guess, because I also saw Amanda Seales spoke on it, and she kind of was like, everybody's kind of running behind Megan and be like, oh, and she brought that point up, like, you didn't look up anything? Like, it's like almost like if you was going to a job interview.
Right.
You're gonna look up you're gonna look up something.
I don't believe that she didn't look up.
She said that's what she said.
I don't believe that.
So we're just going off of her words. She said she did not Google. She did not look up anything about them. She went into it naively, and that's what Amanda Seales was like. How do you think you're gonna marry somebody that is a prince? A prince, like,
right, a real live one,
and you're not gonna look into anything, what type of foolishness is that? And when you met his grandmother and he asked you and you had to actually practice doing a curtsy,
at that point, that's when she should have started looking into things.
Whoa, this is real.
Yeah,
this is
real.
Not just for show. Like, this is...
that's why I have a really hard time believing that she didn't look it up. Like, I almost feel like she knew what she was doing. I almost feel like she knew that she was going to be removing him from that situation.
Now, that's what they have said. They basically, that was part of the media reports, is like, that was her plan all along.
I could see that, though.
She's saying it wasn't her plan.
Of course she would say that. I feel like, it's not possible to be engaged to a prince and not research. We as women are investigators. Like, we investigate. We investigate everything.
That's what Amanda Seales said. We're like Twitter investigators.
We're everything. We're looking at the picture in the sunglasses to see if there's a bitch sitting across from you. Like, that's women. That's what we do. It's natural. So for her to say that she didn't look up anything, she didn't know, she didn't research. Even growing up, the history of Princess Diana in the royal family. Right. It's just not. It's not believable. And I do feel like she accomplished a goal. She went in there knowing that they wouldn't be there long, and she accomplished her goal because they're out, and she knew it. So mission accomplished.
On the flip side of that, because I want to change gears in that sense. When you think about relationships, I think Harry historically, I don't know too much about them, but I kind of feel like historically he was like the rebel of the family. He was doing things that the other Royals wasn't doing.
Right.
And so he was deemed kind of the rebel.
And I feel like she targeted him for that reason.
Well,
because
see,
she knew
that she targeted him.
She knew that
but
she could.
Maybe he targeted her as an escape from what he didn't want to be in. Because that also happens in relationships. It's like you're drawn to something that you know will be forbidden. Like let's say a church girl. You know what I'm saying? She
like
wants
a
bad boy.
Right.
And she's out there doing all this stuff, and she wants to be with him because he's going to pull her away from the life that she doesn't like. He in the interview, I think he said that he felt like he was stuck, and he felt like his father and his brother are also stuck because they were saying it's more of an institution.
Yeah.
So
I did some research on it, and woo, child, I could not.
Yeah.
Like the rules of this lady, Queen Elizabeth.
But the way he was making it seem was like they almost didn't have the power that they, in being royal, they didn't really have the power like the institution ran them.
It did. Like literally, like when Queen Elizabeth is done eating dinner, everybody is done eating dinner. There is no let me finish my plate. Plates are cleared from the table and everyone is dismissed.
Oh wow.
So you better eat fast because apparently she eats really quickly. I did some research on her because I wanted to understand like what is this life about? And then when she's done, everybody's done. So they're not allowed to use garlic in any of the food. Like if you want garlic, that's too bad. Because Queen Elizabeth don't like garlic, so nobody gets garlic. It's that deep. So I can only imagine the levels of insanity that goes on in that palace or whatever the hell they live in. So I can get the institutionalized aspect of it and him wanting to feeling like he was trapped. Because he wants to live like that.
But see, that's why I'm saying he could have used, like, I don't think nobody really talked about this, or I haven't seen it, but that could he could have possibly seen Megan as his way out because he was in that institution, so he would know that she was not going to be received well, or what was going to happen.
It could have been a little bit of both, to be honest. I feel like maybe they chose each other for whatever reason. Maybe he, expressed to her what he was feeling, and maybe she was just like, got you. And so they just did it,
like,
and
let's go.
Chop up the juices and they go
on. You're going to be here for like 2 years, and you're going to be out.
Exactly. So I don't know. I mean, hey,
do you think, my last question, do you think that when you get married, that your spouse trumps all of who you are, basically, essentially? Because that's kind of what he did when he decided, I'm leaving because I don't like how they're treating my wife, all of this stuff. He came from that. Like, would you think your husband, because you are married, trumps your mother, your sister, all of that? Like, you would be willing to remove complete ties with your family, cut them off completely for your husband?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like, there's no question when it's your spouse is number one. They come above anybody else, even your children. That's just what it is in a marriage. So yes, that's just the reality of it. Bye, y'all.
My husband don't bang with y'all like that, so
that's just what it is, and it's the same thing, vice versa. Like, there's nobody that comes before me, above me. Like, you come against me, then it's a wrap.
Do you think you would resent your husband in that type of situation?
It's possible, but I don't know because I've never lived through that. But it's possible that resentment would build because, you're gonna miss those people that you've known your entire life, and you're gonna feel like it's that person's fault. Why? You may not want to feel that way, but you're human, so you will feel something, and your negative vibes or negative feelings are going to be reflected on the person who you feel is responsible for that. Unintentionally, but it would happen. So, But, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to get into our topic of the week. Stay tuned. Hey y'all, welcome back to Love Unlocked Talk, and let's get into our topic of the week. So April Love found something online that was very interesting that we wanted to discuss this week with you guys. So we're gonna let her pull that up, and we're gonna get into it because I feel like it's very, very juicy.
All right,
I love it.
Yeah. So I was on Facebook, and I saw this post, and I'm just gonna read it, and I guess we'll talk about it. So the post says, my husband's baby mama threw a birthday party for their 10-year-old daughter yesterday. The baby mama told my husband that I was not invited, so my husband did not go. Now my husband's family, mostly unmarried women, are bashing him for his decision to stand with me, and they are accusing him of being a bad father. His own mother said that I should have been understanding and not become upset if he had gone to the party without me. The baby mama and I have no bad blood. We have never been disrespectful to one another, have not had an argument or any dispute. But she told my husband that I was not welcome to the party because of my attitude. By the way, his daughter loves me, and I am known for being very kind and direct. Is my husband right for standing with me, or should he have left me behind to attend his daughter's party to satisfy the family he came from? I'm just gonna say, off her question alone, you already know what. Should he have left me behind?
Right. She tried it.
Sis.
He's coming back. Right, relax. Well, based off her question, the way she asked the question, to me, first of all, if he would have gone to the party, he would not have done it to satisfy the family. He would have done it to be there for his daughter. Let's put that out there.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I wouldn't be upset if my husband had a child elsewhere, and I would be upset that I wasn't invited. If we didn't have no bad blood and there's no issues, then what's the issue?
Now we have an issue.
Why we got an issue now all of a sudden? Why all of a sudden is my attitude a thing when it was never a thing before? What's going on? These will be my questions. Obviously, they had a good enough relationship where the daughter has been in her life. Right. You know what I mean? So I feel like that could have been a phone call, a conversation. Can we talk about this? What happened? Did I offend you? Whatever. I personally, it depends. I feel like if he would have said, like I told you earlier, if he would have said, that's okay. If my wife can't come, then we're gonna do our own party for her.
Right.
We'll do that on another weekend. Talk to your daughter. She's 10. She can understand. Oh, I'm gonna have 2 parties because that's how she's gonna take it. You know what I mean? But for him to just totally not go because of that, I don't know if I agree with that. Unless there was something else planned.
But see, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier in the sense of your spouse coming first, because basically it seems like she did feel like he should not go.
She did. I can hear it.
So she felt like he should not go, and that's probably why he did not go. Mm-hmm. Probably not because he just naturally came to that
right.
Oh, my wife can't go, so I'm not gonna go to my daughter's birthday party.
Right.
It probably was like, you not going. Like what?
It sucks because we really don't know how that happened.
We don't.
Because he could be that kind of dude. Because I feel like my husband's that kind of dude. Like my husband would be like, oh, if my wife can't go, I'm not coming. Like there are men like that.
There are, but it's I don't know how many kids he has or
right.
the situation is. But I just feel like, it's your daughter's birthday and the family, she said his family spoke. So if it's even worse, kind of, if you think his family possibly was at the birthday party and he wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? It's
they're definitely talking shit. Because I would be too.
You're his sister. You're at the birthday party with all y'all family, and he ain't there. And y'all the only reason why y'all know her,
right.
the baby mama, is because of him.
Right.
So it's that would be a little
it would be awkward, and it would be like, what's going on? I would call him and be like, why aren't you here? you need to be here. It's your daughter's birthday.
And it seems like that's what they did. They kind of got on him. That's why she said the family. That's why she said she threw shade the unmarried women.
Right.
She threw shade at them. But it kind of goes back to me, if you know what you're getting into, like obviously he's had this daughter prior to you. Right. You know, so she's turning 10. I don't know the backstory, like how long they've been married, right, and all of that. But I feel like you must not have been showing up to any other events either. Like I don't know if this, you know what I'm saying?
Is this the first time occurrence that you weren't invited, or you usually never invited?
Right. You usually either you must not go or something, because that seems kind of odd if y'all have had a cordial relationship, right, and then all of a sudden you can't go.
There's something else in there that she's leaving out, obviously.
But even if that's all the case, if she's leaving out something, if maybe her attitude is a little stank or whatever have you, it goes back, does your relationship take like priority over your other relationships that are like, so one would say by default, like that's your child, it's always going to be your child, regardless if I'm with so and so or not. You know, this is my mother, this is always going to be my mother. Right. And regardless if whatever. So should one put their spouse up there to be like, look, at that party then boo, we here.
See, I wouldn't do that. Like that's selfish. That's selfish because you're taking something away from him. I'm sure he wanted to be there. And her. You know what I mean? Like it comes at a point in a marriage or in any relationship where you have to put your feelings aside and, you know, be like, go. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be here when you get back. Yeah, y'all can talk about it later. Right. But you don't make him miss his daughter's birthday party, especially at 10. Like, that's a monumental birthday. Like, she's gonna remember that her dad wasn't there. You know what I'm saying?
And it's probably gonna be a little worse because I feel like, you know, I don't know how his baby mother is, but I could see conversations happening around her to why he wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And she probably will feel a certain way, and not only feel a certain way about him not being there, but about his wife too.
And now you've made it worse because now they really hate your wife. Now she's really not going to be invited because it's her fault that you're not there in the first place. They know it, right? You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, it's her.
And it kind of does. Then it's a lose-lose situation for the wife though, because it kind of makes it seem like she does have an attitude problem. Because, you know, you would think any more, like for me, if I wasn't invited, I would think that's weird, and I would want to have a conversation with said baby mama, like, yo, what's going on? But if you stuck to that stance, like, bitch, I don't like you, or your attitude is thing, I can't see myself being like, what are you doing? Even if he was like, I'm not going, I would kind of be like, this your daughter's birthday party, like you should go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but that does.
But everybody is not like that. Like I feel like you said, she was probably like, oh, so you gonna go? You gonna leave me? I'm your wife. Like, I kind of feel like that's kind of what happened to where he was like, fuck it, I just won't go. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say that I haven't been there because I have. Like in my younger years, as I've stated plenty of times, I am new. I'm a whole new person. So back then, I was selfish like that. I was like, oh, well, if like so you're just gonna go? Like, you know that she don't like me and you're gonna go, and that's gonna make it look like she's gonna feel like she got the upper hand. Like that's how you look at it when you have that mentality, like, oh, I don't want this bitch to win. And by you going without me, she wins, because now every single time she says I can't come somewhere, she wins because you show up. And so she's over there all smug, like, that's right, bitch. I told you, he gonna come. Anytime
gonna be here.
Exactly. Every time Every time you and the baby mom get into it, but guess where he was at? And you wasn't. It's just like, so that's the kind of drama that I was in back in the day with dudes with kids. Which is why I stopped dating men with kids. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but it's just so messy. It's so messy. And it's like, it's just a lot of drama that is so unnecessary because you can be mature, but then the baby mama is not, and she brings that out of you to where you not mature no more either. So it's a mess. I don't know.
I mean, that whole situation seems like a mess, first of all, because if it was his girlfriend, okay, but that's his wife.
Right.
So your child is around him
and
his
her,
wife.
apparently.
Right.
Yeah.
That's petty.
It's petty to not invite her, though.
Just off a default, whether you bang with her or not, that's his wife.
Right.
That's your daughter's stepmommy, whether you want to
acknowledge it or not. That's who she is, and the daughter clearly likes her.
Right. So then that's just weird. Like, how I would feel petty even being the baby mom, being like, oh yeah, your wife, not your girlfriend. Yeah. Your wife can't come.
Baby mamas be petty. Like,
petty.
For real, they be petty. They be having their own shit with them. Like, it's like a lot of them have a hard time letting go of the fact that they are married to somebody else or that they aren't with them. And so they make shit difficult for no reason. Just to be difficult.
Well, you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, this was like a loaded kind of post because there also is a different component to it. Maybe the daughter doesn't like her. Maybe the daughter has came back to mother and said things about her experience with her. Because that does happen. There are kids that will come back and be like, well, you know, daddy's wife said I couldn't do X, Y, and Z. And baby mama's like, what? You can't do X, Y, and Z.
But then I feel like if that were the case, then the baby mama would have already addressed the situation with him.
Maybe that was her way of being.
I don't know.
There's passive aggressive baby mamas, and they do petty shit like that, where it's like, oh hey, and then birthday party, oh she can't come.
Yeah.
That's weird. Though.
It is very weird.
That's weird to not know why you can't come somewhere.
Right, but like that, once again, I would ask if I was the wife, because like I was a girlfriend in my situation, so I didn't care enough to be like, oh, let me call. No, because I knew it was gonna be drama. So go be with your kid. I'll see you later. But like I said, if my husband now had a kid and his baby's mom was like, oh, your wife can't come, I would be picking up the phone like, okay, sis, what's the problem? Like, what's going on?
I would feel like obligated at that point. Like, first of all, I don't even want to have no issue with you, and especially if I never even knew we had an issue. I'm gonna be like,
what happened?
What?
Like, fill me in.
Like,
what did I miss?
Clutches pearls, like attitude. I thought we were good. I thought it was giving, blended family goals. Like, I thought we were supposed to be Jada and vacation
like, yes, like, I don't know. This scenario gives me such flashbacks because I've been here so many times, like a lot of times, and it was just not fun. And I can't even imagine being a wife in that situation because you have to figure it out because you're married.
See, I've never dated anybody that has children.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I've never done that. And partly because I have children with men. And
she said, I'm the one having the children.
Right.
And
that's
it.
First.
I'm the first baby mama. I'm the only baby
mama. No, but it's like that baby daddy, baby mama dynamic I don't know what that is. It's some type of tie.
It's a soul tie.
It's like, that's what it is.
That's exactly
like hard
what it is.
To sever.
It doesn't ever sever.
And it's like you're connected and it's crazy because I hear stories like I'm no longer like, with my ex or whatever, but I hear stories of like other people that still kind of come back like years after it's been over. They could both be in relationships and they're still dipping back to each other. So when I see stuff like that, when a baby mother is acting that type of way, that's like a red flag to me because my whole thing is if you're done, what am I don't care. Like,
you're not really done. And I've seen like my ex he had two baby moms. One was like semi-cool, but then got weird towards the end. And then the other one was just fucking crazy throughout the whole relationship. So it was like one extreme to the next. Like I think the one that was like semi-cool was kind of two-faced. Like she would smile in my face, but then behind my back still try and fuck her baby's dad.
Right.
And then the other one was like really petty, really vindictive, really what was the word? I can't think of it, but she was just, sometimes she would just smile in my face and be all extra, but like kind of hint to me that they were still doing whatever, or I can get him anytime I want to, anytime like, it was like subliminals all the time. It's exhausting. So seriously, I was like, yikes. After that, it traumatized me. I'm like, okay, from this point on, you cannot have any children. Like my first ex that I was engaged to, his baby's mom got murdered. So, but her and I, like, I almost ran that bitch over with a car.
Oh, you almost murdered her.
I almost.
Damn.
I almost did, but it was like some Lord, like, saving me type deal. I could not get the car out of gear. Like, I think that was like my guardian angel.
I
was in the car.
Not figuratively, you was in the car.
No, I was in the car.
It could have went down.
It could have went down, but something stopped my gear shift from shifting. I could not shift the gear into reverse. And so, it didn't happen.
Oh, the Lord
was protecting me.
Here
I am blessed and highly favored because I would be all up in the jail right now for murder. No. But somebody did murder her. Somebody stabbed her to death because she was a psychopath.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, R.I.P. Star, like for real, like that's nothing to play with. But it's just really sad, like how baby moms really feel entitled to their kids' fathers after the relationship is over. It's like an entitlement.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they be petty as fuck. Like this girl's
they both seem petty to me.
Well, they are.
They both are petty.
She tried to sway the narrative a little bit. I heard it all up in the
she most definitely. The unmarried women. He was supposed to leave me behind.
Right.
Girl, for a birthday party, sis.
Right. Relax. We'll be home later.
Yeah.
Like, so you're saying
going to the strip club.
Right. Or you don't trust your husband. Like
that's what it's giving.
That's what it's giving. Like you're concerned.
Maybe he's the problem.
He could very well be the problem because I know I felt that way.
You know what? And that's also something that happens too. The baby father be pillow talking, going back and
that's saying, what they do.
And they be saying stuff they be unnecessary. Like they with somebody, they got a girlfriend, and they going back to the baby mama. Well, you know, she don't like.
Let me tell you a story. Let me tell y'all a story. This is all about my ex. He was like my most traumatizing relationship. I will never forget. So he was asking for gel because like his hair, whatever he wanted to do his hair. And I pulled out this, I think it was like some kind of gel. It was clear. And then he was just like, I'm not used to this. Where's the brown gel? And I was just like, I was like, I don't use that ghetto shit. I was like, this is what I use. And that's what I said. We laughed about it, and then that was it. This was in the MySpace days.
Okay.
So I get on my MySpace, and I used to like lurk her page and stuff just to see. And she had a whole fucking blurb there next to her picture said, "Don't worry, babe. I got ghetto gel here at home." I was like, yeah. Like, there ain't no way she could have knew to say that unless you sat there and really told her what I said. So you talking about me? Like, so you're baby's mom? I'm your girlfriend. How disrespectful. Like, he just, so, you cannot, that's what I mean. Like, you can't, it's hard to trust these dudes with kids because that soul tie be real.
It and
so maybe that's the vibe that she was probably picking up why she really didn't want, maybe she felt strongly about him not wanting him to go alone because she couldn't watch him or make sure that he came right home after the party.
But see, then that's a problem within your situation.
That's definitely a problem.
You should be able to trust whatever. And honestly, to me, I feel like I would not be fucking with him that heavy because to me, that if I was a dude, I would want to try to resolve that real quick.
Right.
Like, what's going on?
Right.
Like, do we need to go get some lunch, talk? What's happening? Because this is my wife.
Right. Right.
You know, you're the mother of my child, and I want everything to be copacetic. I'm not about to just be like, okay, check the deuces, my daughter. Okay,
Right.
Like, oh, wow, your mom being a bitch.
But dudes don't think a lot of the time. They don't know what to do. So they just don't do anything. And I'm telling y'all that that's not the answer. Doing nothing is not the answer. Do something. Right. You know what I mean? Make them comfortable with one another the best way that you possibly can. And don't let anybody disrespect your wife. Period. Just make it known early so that it doesn't happen, so they know what's up. Because the only reason why things happen is because they allow it to happen. If they were to put their foot down early on in the relationship, like, listen, this is my wife. Please don't disrespect my wife.
That's real.
And this, I'm not going for this. You know what I mean? They would have no choice but to respect it. But when they don't, they feel like they can do whatever they want to do. And that's typically the case.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much it. I mean, shit. Good luck to you, sis. I mean, I really hope that you can learn to trust your husband more, because that's what is coming. That's what it's giving. It's giving you don't trust your husband.
It's giving real problematic in the future.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Like, this is the start of a downhill type. It's a slippery slope.
Because baby mama always going to be around, unfortunately.
She did not say anything about, like, reaching out to
Nothing.
shorten her neck. So it already is just giving real like,
toxic, messy vibes, right?
Sheesh.
Yikes. Well, you know, with that being said, that's our show, y'all. This is actually our finale, ain't it?
Hey, is it?
I think it is.
Oh my gosh.
We are just so all wrapped up. We forgot to announce that this is our finale show, y'all. Oh my gosh.
Oh wow. We should have really been popping.
We should have had a glass of something other than water.
We played ourselves.
Well, let's toast to the last show with our glasses of water. And we thank you guys so much for joining us. And please follow us on Instagram at Love Unlocked LLC. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Love Unlocked Talk, and we'll see you next time. Hey y'all, it's your girl Vee.
And your girl April Love.
And we are your hosts of Love Unlocked Talk.
If you like what you saw, please subscribe, like, and comment below. And let us know what you want us to discuss for future episodes.
Also, please follow us on Instagram at Love Unlocked LLC for updates.